All righty, we are live once again, another weekly HTC Mastermind. So, for those of you who do not know, my name is Vikas Kapil. Some of you know me as Vikas Kapil, whatever it may be. Congratulations, you made it here. Great to see everyone. Now, I want to do a quick mic check and make sure you guys can hear me. Just in the Zoom chat, type in yes if you guys can hear me. I want to make sure everyone's there. Oh, by the way, friendly reminder, when you see the word two and it says all panelists, let's change it over to all panelists and attendees. Do me a favor, all panelists and attendees, because I can see all of you have it set to all panelists. So once you change it to all panelists and attendees, please type in done so I can see you've done so and we can chat with you. And also your brothers and sisters can see you talk as well. Otherwise, we won't see anything. And then it's almost like you're talking to a wall, which we don't want. Done? Yes. See, Rento's done it. Samuel, Demir. Perfect. Great to see everyone coming on in. We'll wait a few more minutes. I know we have a few more students and members rolling on in. If you do know that some people are missing out on this and they should be here, shoot them a message, let them know we've just went live, and we will get on to starting the mastermind. Now, of course, a little bit of housekeeping. We are not on Discord. We are on Zoom, so make sure you are here. If you're looking for the chat, just go down below, press the button where it says chat and pop up, and you shall see it. Again, the chat button below. Also, friendly reminder to make sure, again, please make sure we have all the comments in the Q&A section. So down below, you'll see the button that says Q&A. You can type in your question. Please make sure to fill in your first and last name so we know who we're addressing, and try and save them for the end when we do have our Q&A session. And of course, always, I don't feel like I need to remind you this, but again, just in case, when you're asking a question, make sure you're thinking about your brothers and sisters saying, what is the question I could ask that would impact everyone and not just myself? That's the true go-giver mentality. Sound good? Who's excited, by the way? I love these masterminds. They're always so fun because you get a fresh aspect, a fresh look at someone new every week and what they've done with closing. Now, I'm not going to introduce the guest, but I'm going to introduce one of our hosts. Now, as you know, I've usually hosted the masterminds, but we've had an elite group training in the background non-stop. They have been training day in, day out, crafting the best stories, the best masterminds, working with the community coaches day in, day out, so they could deliver value to you every single week. Now, I got a question for everyone. How many of you have received value from these masterminds, from the coaches, from the captains? Yes? Right? There's always something new. Now, they put in a lot of work to ensure that you receive the best value. And this next coach and next captain that I have coming up have been working non-stop. I've been watching them from the sidelines and I've been amazed. I myself have my notes ready to go to make sure we can receive value. Now, our community captain today is Patrick Gregoire. Now, Patrick is going to be taking over the mastermind. He has one of the best storytelling abilities I've ever seen, a voice of gold, and brings in excitement like no other. So can we do him a favor? Let's match that excitement. Let's match that energy, and let's make sure that we give Patrick the time of his life because he put in the time and energy for us so we can give the energy back to him. Sound good? All right, so let's give a huge warm welcome for our mastermind host for this afternoon, Patrick Gregoire. Welcome. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Vikas. And hello, HTC. I'm looking at the chat so you can interact with me. Thank you for being out here. Welcome to the Mastermind. This is Patrick Gregoire. I'm your host for today. And of course, I am joined by Vikas Kapil and Tatiana Petrov, your coach, whom I'll introduce in just a moment. But first, Vikas kind of touched upon it, but I do have to do a bit of housekeeping just to make sure we really put that in your minds, make sure this is important. So let's see if you know the drill. Put in the chat, what do you do with your cell phones when the mastermind starts? Of course, if you're not using it to tune into the mastermind. What do you do with your mastermind? Or with your cell phone, sorry. Put it in the chat. Turn it off, turn it off. That's right. Yes. And also put it away, right? Silence it. Don't just flip it face down or have it right beside you. You're going to be tempted to distract yourself, right? So put it far away, turn it off. You've committed to being here for this mastermind because you want to learn and absorb what today's coach has to share with you, right? So show that commitment to yourself, to the coach, and put your phone away. Also close any social media that you have open. That's a distraction as well. You all know that. All you need open is Zoom. That's it. And just remember, if you have any questions, anytime during the mastermind, if a question pops into your mind, you can just type it into the Zoom Q&A section, and we'll do our very, very best to get it through as many as we can at the end of the mastermind. All right, but type them in anytime during the mastermind. And if you're going to ask a question, like Vikas mentioned, just ask yourself these questions first. Will it benefit the whole family? Right? Is it going to help as many people as possible? Because we might get a whole bunch of questions and we can't get through them all. So we want to make sure that the questions that we get asked are going to be very beneficial for as many people as possible. Also ask yourself, has this question already been asked before? Or could I easily just do some research on my own? Right? Again, we don't want to waste all of your time with stuff that you can just find on your own very easily. And of course, keep it appropriate. Okay? So you also want to make sure that you have lots of paper and your pen ready, because you're going to want to be taking notes from this mastermind. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be full of gold. And we ask you to use a pen and paper because when you handwrite your notes, it helps the lessons sink in more, right? It activates a different part of your brain. So don't just type on your computer for your notes. Make sure you're taking notes by hand. Alrighty. So we're almost ready to bring on today's coach. Hope you're excited. But first, I want to share with you a story. Are you ready for just a short story before we get started here? Put in the chat if you're ready. I want to make sure everyone's with me. Awesome. Now, it's a bit of a history lesson. Here's the thing. Personally, I don't particularly like history. It just doesn't really interest me that much. Except this story, it's pretty short and it's pretty crazy. So listen up. I'm sure you all know the island of Hawaii. In fact, some of you might be from Hawaii. I remember several seasons back, there was a closer in HTC, he was studying in Hawaii. So it's a little island that was discovered by the Polynesians somewhere between the year 124 and 1120 AD. So a long time ago. And if you look at a map of the world, you'll see that the island of Hawaii is one of the most isolated places in the world. It's just a tiny little island in the middle of the Pacific. So how did they discover it? Such a tiny little island in the middle of the ocean. Well, the Polynesians had a hunch. They noticed a particular bird called the golden plover. And this particular bird, it migrates north out to the open water every year. And to the Polynesians, this was evidence that there must be land somewhere around there. So they set sail from the Marquesas Island to follow the birds. Now, if you're not familiar, the Marquesas Island is the closest land to Hawaii. So it's a little island, but it's still 2,500 miles away. So to put that into perspective, these days, with all of our modern equipment, it takes roughly 30 days to sail to Hawaii from the Marquesas Island. And remember, back then, they only had wooden boats that they carved themselves by hand, and they had to paddle all the way. And they didn't know much about navigation. They had no advanced technology, just what they knew about navigation. So the Polynesians would set sail in their boats, and they would follow the birds as fast as they could. But the problem was, the birds always flew faster than they could paddle. So at some point, they'd lose track of the birds, and they'd have to turn back. So each year, they would try again. They'd paddle back to where they left off, and they'd keep going from there. And the Polynesians kept trying again and again, year after year. And eventually, they finally reached the island of Hawaii. Such a beautiful place. And I'm curious, does anyone want to guess how long it took them to find it? Take a guess. 10 years? I'm going to let a few guesses go. 15 years? 50? Good guesses. 100 years? Holy smokes. 8 years, 20, a few centuries? My goodness. 5, 7? It wasn't 5 years. It wasn't 10 years. It wasn't 50 years. It wasn't 100 years. It took them 400 years. 400 years. Imagine the determination and perseverance needed to do this. All of this effort, all of this time, this paddling, this preparation, all on a hunch, but it finally paid off. Now, what does this story have to do with you? Well, it has a lot to do with you, but specifically, we can relate it to closing. Basically, what I'm trying to say is it's going to take you roughly 400 years to get good at closing. So you better start role playing today. Honestly, I'm kidding. But it's a journey, right? You can all agree with me. It's a process. Chances are you won't role play for your first time and be amazing at it. So you don't give up. You go again and again and again and again with conviction in your heart that you'll improve, that it's worth your time, determination, and perseverance. And our coach today, she's a perfect example of this. She joined HTC back in season 5, which I believe was in July of 2018. And when she decided to join, she didn't even know who Dan Locke was. But she didn't let that stop her. She didn't overthink things. She's the prime example of knowing what you want and just going after it, no matter what. She saw a high income skill that she wanted to learn, and she just went for it. And she gave it her all, her full commitment. She attended all classes live. She did all the assignments. She role played every single day. And you know what? She shared something with me. And I want to share it with you. Do you want to know what it is? Okay. You might relate to this. When she started role playing, she felt terrified. She said her voice was shaky. She was nervous. She was petrified. And it wasn't like that for just the first role play. It was like that for the first 10 or so role plays. And you might find, like I said, that it's the same for you if you've already started role playing after last class. Maybe you've already experienced this feeling. But she kept going and going and going and going. And eventually, she got good. And she got noticed by Sifu. And she started closing for him. And she's been closing for him for the past 10 months, absolutely killing it. And since then, she's closed more than 50K in sales, more than 100K, more than 200K. She's closed well over $300,000 in sales. Put a boom in the chat. She's a paragon of persistence, a master of mindset, and a damn good closer. She's a high-performing, no BS closing machine, but she's also got a heart of gold, and she loves to coach others. I feel privileged to call her my friend, and you should feel privileged to have her on the mastermind here today, because she's going to share with you invaluable insights, advice, and tactics that are going to allow you to become the best high-ticket closer you can be and the best version of yourself that you can be. What she's about to reveal to you in this mastermind, it has worked for her to unlock her mind, boost her self-esteem and closing skills sky high, and get boom after boom after boom. But you're not interested in discovering how you can do that too, right? Oh, look at the chat. I guess I'm wrong. My bad. Then take your paper, take your pen, get excited, and help me welcome to the mic, veteran closer and all-around awesome human being, the one and only Tatiana Petrov. Tatiana, welcome to the mastermind.
Oh, geez, Patrick. Thank you so much. That's an awesome, awesome introduction. Love the story about Hawaii. I can definitely tell that, you know, I found my Hawaii. That's what I want to say. And I'm very happy to be here, very privileged to be here. Thanks for inviting me. And guys, I want you to, you know, take it seriously. And if you become a little bit better after this mastermind, that will genuinely, seriously make me so much happy and fulfilled. So take it seriously, pay attention, take notes, and remember that knowledge is awesome, it's great, but implementation is power. So you learn as much as you can, you read, you expand yourself, right? But you gotta implement. You gotta put it into practice. You gotta apply what you learn, because that's how you transform. And this is why we all are here. We're here for transformation. It's a journey that will allow us to find our Hawaii, right, in our life. And we are in control. We are the drivers. It's our boat. So let's be in charge of it. Patrick?
I love it. Beautiful. So you can already hear Tatiana is going to be speaking just from the heart, from what's on her mind. And we're going to kind of nudge her along to give you some gold based off of certain topics that we want to cover with you today. But she is live with you. She's ready to share. She's ready to blow your minds, unlock your minds, give you some aha moments. Before we get started, let's just get to know Tatiana a little bit with a fun little game called Two Truths and One Lie. Tatiana, I'll let you tell them, if you have it written down, your two truths and your lie, kind of mixed up in whatever order you want. Mm-hmm. And it is your job, HTC, to try and spot the lie. Go ahead.
All right, let's go. So I used to work a long time ago, maybe like 10 years ago. I used to work for a big travel agency company. I'm not going to call any names. And I actually, so I love doing that, right? I enjoyed, it was short and sweet, but I enjoyed it. And I was their top salesperson. So that's number one. Number two, I am originally born in Russia, right? So I'm on that side of the world. And today is January 25th. So it's actually Tatiana's Day. Yep, there is such a holiday, Tatiana's Day. So thanks. I love this day. Always get, warm messages, gifts, and flowers, things like that. So yeah, January 25th is Tatiana's Day. And number three, once me and my friends were, we were in the room. So it was middle of the night, right? And we decided to have some fun, to play. So we called a random person, a stranger, made up number. I had no idea who we are calling in the middle of the night, and decided and asked him to read our mind. Basically, we were thinking of one specific thing, and we asked him to name it. And guess what? He did. He guessed exactly what we were thinking about. So this is the two truths and a lie. Put in the chat which one is the lie. I guess we have one lie, right?
Yep.
So what's
beautiful.
Number 1, 2, 3?
We had lots of threes, now we got lots of ones. We got 1, 2.
We have some twos too.
Yeah, now there's more twos, yeah.
Yeah, today, January 25th, Tatiana's Day. So it sounds really weird.
It sounds ridiculous.
Like
what are the odds? Think about this, HTC. Right. What are the odds that we have our coach, Tatiana, and today on her mastermind, it happens to be Tatiana's Day?
Right.
All right, so are you ready to tell them one of the truths before we get to the lie?
Well, it is Tatiana's Day, okay?
Happy Tatiana's Day.
It is Tatiana's Day. Not a lot of people know about it, but which is fine, right? It's not celebrated here. But I do celebrate it, and my family does. So yeah, wish me happy Tatiana's Day. Thank you.
And if she doesn't say for herself, everyone put in the chat, happy Tatiana Day. That's really, really cool. All right.
Yeah.
And now.
And what are the odds, right? Today's Tatiana's Day and today Mastermind. I love it.
Yeah, legitimate coincidence. Wasn't planned. She just told me a few days ago. I was like, wow, that's ridiculous. It sounds made up. Cool. So that was the truth. Okay. So now just straight up tell them the other truth and then the lie, one after the other. Let's see.
So the other truth, guys, is that we did call a random stranger and he guessed what we were thinking, and it drove us crazy. It was unbelievable. It was ridiculous. But okay, I'll give you a little a little hint here. Guess who was one of the friends with me?
Dan.
Yeah.
Dan got it. No, Dan's not the
No,
guy. Dan guessed it. Dan Conti got it.
yeah, it's Patrick. Yeah, we called a random guy, right? And we thought of a card, and he guessed it. Like mind reading. It's the legit mind reading. It's crazy. And yeah, the lie is that, yeah, I was never a top salesperson in my travel agency company. No, that wasn't happening. All right,
But
so
things have changed, skills have changed,
oh, yeah.
and now we're ready to talk about, ironically, you talked about how someone read your mind, and to you that was a real experience. That was the power of the mind. And one thing that you've always said is that mindset is everything. You got to work out that mindset. So we want to hear what you have to say about mindset because it's so important to you. So Mike is yours.
Well, that's true. Mindset is everything. And it's a daily work, right? It's not that you work on your mindset and then you feel like, okay, good, I'm there, so I'm fine. I'm not going to do anything else from now on. No, it's a daily workout, right? Brain, you got to take care of your mind because you got to protect it. You got to make it strong because ultimately this is what is dictating, right? What is the result you have in your life? What is happening in your life? It's the projection of your mindset, right? If you have strong mindset, if you work on it, you're going to have a powerful reality, right? Because you are the one creating it. So it doesn't matter where you wear. If you wear a best top salesperson or whatever, all of that does not matter anymore because your past does not define your future. What defines your future, though, is your mindset, right? Your constant work on it. And I want you to think about, okay, yes, mindset is everything. Mindset is important. You've heard it a lot of times, right? What does it have to do with closing? Like what is closing? Put in the chat. What do you think closing is?
Helping others, transfer of emotions, transfer of clarity. Interesting. Closing is a living. Mm-hmm. The mindset. You change their mindset. Selling a vision, clarifying. Yeah. We got vision, clarity.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely clarity. You are giving them clarity, right? The only way you can do it, though, the only way you can, I don't like the word sell them, right? The way you can help them, the only way you can take them to the next level in their life is by having a stronger mindset than them, right? The only way you can do it is if you show up with your higher self and you help those people who are stuck in their lower self, stuck in that box, and you're their guide, right? You're their leader because your mindset is stronger. And naturally, they would want to follow you. They would want to be guided by you. And this is what happens at the closing call, right? You lead them, you guide them like that lighthouse, showing them the way where to go, but not doing it for them, not jumping in the water with them. And if they're swimming away, you still stay where you are, right? Which is your strong frame, your mindset, your higher self. And this allows you to guide that prospect. Because if you think about it, what is your responsibility as a closer? How can you provide value to that prospect? Not by explaining what is the program, right? Not just by digging into their pain and discovering their needs and, their goals and things like that. Not just your ultimate goal is to own your own mindset. And through that, you are able to show them, right, the way to escape of their, either box or problem or situation. But you got to be that leader. There is no script. There is no right question to ask. There is only the right mindset. And people will, they got to feel that strength in you. That's how they will trust, right? If they don't trust you, they're not going to follow you.
Mm-hmm.
So building trust definitely, is something that you can only do when you trust yourself and you own your own mindset. That is why it's so important. Closing is not selling. Closing is not getting the commission.
Yeah.
A high-ticket closer is someone who has a strong mindset. Sorry, Patrick. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. It's fine. This is gonna happen. We know we're not. We don't resent each other for it. So that's why HTC starts with the mindset. A lot of people are like, okay, Sifu's just kind of giving us a gift. He's trying to help us in life, get the mindset. Then he's going to teach us the closing, right? Yes, let's do it. But oftentimes we might forget that the reason why he starts with it is because that's where it all starts. And it doesn't just start there. It has to keep going throughout for the rest of your life, right? Like you said, Tatiana, you keep building that mindset and you don't stop. That is the main thing. You learn the tactics, the techniques, the strategies, the philosophies of closing. But if you don't have that mindset, you're pretty much dead in the water.
Exactly. Yep. And that's why, when Sifu says that you can't be doing some closing or high ticket closing, you got to be a closer, right? You got to embrace that. You got to become a closer. Because ultimately, a closer is a person with a strong mindset, someone who is growth oriented. Yes, you wear that cape. You don't just do high ticket closing because that's not you, right? You got to be it. And that is the only way to be it. So, one more time, work on your mindset, guys. We're going to get to role play, and you will know why it is so important. Right? Your relationship with people, not just the prospects, but with people around you, whatever you tolerate, whatever you, allow people to treat you, that all comes from mindset, right? Your mindset, your self-image, your self-esteem.
Mm-hmm. And just one last thing, just going back to the lighthouse, I love the example, because I had a bit of an aha moment just in the sense of that's a great metaphor, because the lighthouse doesn't move. It's not going to see someone that needs help and go walking towards them to help them out. No, it stays where it is. It knows its job. Its job is to give clarity to people so they can see what they want, what they need, and how to get there. And that's all you do. You show them the way, and those who want to take your light, take your help, and find their way, they're free to do so. But you don't budge, right? It's not your place to try and change their mind or any of that.
Right.
In a manner of speaking, yeah.
You can't be, a shaky, flaky lighthouse. That's not going to help anyone. You'll just fall in the water, and that's it. And nobody's going to be able to, see you and follow you. So you just stand there, be strong, know what you're doing, do the best you can, every single call, every single interaction with a person, right? Have that intent of impacting them in some way. Leave a person in a better place than comparable to where you found them, right? So if you focus on that, what a powerful thing it's going to be, right? All the people that interact with you, they would feel better after just interacting with you. So be that strong lighthouse instead of being flaky and, shaky and uncertain. And for that, it's totally your responsibility, and, doing it every single day, working on it.
Mm-hmm. And talking about that, so being flaky, let's say you're talking to prospects or you're role playing and people just seem flaky. They seem like they don't want your help or they're not listening. One thing that we learned is you don't, let's see if you know in the chat, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you, good guesses, okay? Yep,
Mhm.
you get what you tolerate. And Tatiana, I want you to talk about that a little bit. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you tolerate.
Right. Well, because sometimes and oftentimes people will, BS you, right? They will either lie to you or either not show respect, or they will, sometimes they will maybe rude or something like that, right? So if your self-esteem is kind of weak or, not very strong, then you will allow them to do that. You will project that, and that's why they're doing it. But if your self-esteem, it's strong, you don't allow anyone to be like that with you, then you can get to the truth fast, right? If they're rude, you first of all, you understand that it has nothing to do with you, right? That's your self-confidence. Like, there is no reason this person could be rude at me or mean at me. Like, there is no reason. So let me just find out what's going on, right? But if you're insecure, you take everything personally. You feel like it all is addressed to you. So don't do that, right? It's you stay in your pocket, you respect yourself, and if you don't like the way people either talk to you or treat you, it goes back to, when someone gives you money, it doesn't make you their little bitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just that's what you tell them, right? I'm not gonna take crap from you because you're gonna, maybe pay at the end. I don't care. I'm here, I'm respecting myself, and I'm not gonna tolerate any other attitude towards me. So self-esteem is huge, because on the call, you will show up and it will come through your tonality, it will come through your questions, it will come through your empathy, right? And they will feel it. If they feel it's weak, they will overpower you easily, right? And you're going to tolerate because you would be, waiting for that sale. But then if you don't allow that to happen, you just, you will project that and they will feel it. It also, I think, it goes the same with, so crabs, right? When you have people who drag you down, it all happens because you tolerate it. It doesn't happen because there is no escape from them, right? There's nothing you can do, right? You just tolerate it. You let them do it. You let them drag you, and they do it not to do something bad for you. They do it because they love you. But then you need to stop tolerating this. If you understand that this is not going to help you,
Mm-hmm.
cut it off. It's fine.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, and tell us in the chat if that makes sense, because a lot of us, I can be the same as well, right? Whether on a call or in real life. I mean, I can take things a little too personally sometimes. I can be oversensitive. I can misunderstand. I can make assumptions, all of that stuff, right? It works against you. You have to
Yeah.
just know why you're there, know what you want to accomplish, and just stick to that, be genuine to that.
Right, right. The reaction that people give us has nothing to do with us. It all has to do with their inner world, right? So if you are reacting to whatever they're saying or they're doing, that means you have a problem in your inner world. So the only thing you can control is your inner world. So let's not, try to kind of change people, change yourself. And the people around you are going to change, and at least they will change their attitude towards you and the way they see you and feel about you and act with you. Yes, definitely do not react. React is a weakness. When you have a reaction to someone, it's a weakness. So whenever, when you have that self-esteem, it's not going to bother you to ask a person, like if they're rude, for example, are you always this rude? What's going on in your world? Why are you, talking like that? Is everything okay? It will allow you to do that. But if you're reacting, if you're like, oh, taking it personally and like, oh my God, he's so rude, then you won't be able to say something like that sincerely.
Yeah. And if you can hear, Tatiana is just so, her mindset is so strong. You can hear how comfortable she is saying that, how genuine it is, and her tonality. It's impressive, and it's actually very inspiring. And she's a great example of, what you can, I guess, get to what point, even if that's just a start, because even Tatiana is going to keep progressing, right? She's never going to stop. We all want to keep growing. But you can get to that point if you take notes and you apply what you're learning here. Super important. So this is a big question, Tatiana, to help HTC. What are some tips on how to build your self-esteem, how to build it up?
Well, okay. So little example on why a lot of people struggle with self-esteem, right? Why we don't give ourselves enough credit for everything that we do. It used to be like that when we were children, right? When we were small. Just remember when you first used potty, right? Potty chair, whatever, you made a poop. Like the whole family was cheering for you. You were the star. You were the best, the top of the world, right? Everything was amazing. And then when you're 7 or 8 or 9, something happens. Nobody really pays attention to your achievements, to the things that you have done. Everybody's only paying attention to what you have done wrong. And then you started to do the same to yourself. Paying attention to only what you cannot do, only why you can't do it, what you have done wrong, how you failed. There's no failure, right? You name it a failure. There's really no failure. It's growth, it's experience. But then now as adults, we don't give ourselves enough credit. Like pat yourself on the back. I mean, give yourself high five. Look at yourself in the mirror and say a compliment. Don't expect it from other people. Don't expect other people to validate something for you. Do it for yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, good job for whatever, waking up on time, or, maybe sleeping in and having that extra rest that I needed. Give yourself that love. And then again, as you know, sometimes, well, most of the time, right? People get more fulfillment, more happiness when they give. It's not just you're doing things for yourself. When you give, when you share, this is when we experience the most fulfillment and happiness, right? Just even when something amazing happened in your life, some kind of event, or you won something, you want to call your loved ones and share that with them, right? Because that will explode the feeling of happiness. That will make you feel even better. You can't keep it to yourself. So that's why when you are changing focus from yourself and giving it to other people, do some kind of impact, right? Make some kind of impact, or help them, or get into their soul, somebody that you don't know, a stranger, and just ask them genuinely, sincerely, how was your day? Not, hi, how are you? Not stuff like that, but sincere, how is your day? Are you feeling okay? And watch what happens. When you do that today, tomorrow, consistently, you see that you're actually so powerful and you can impact other people just by being genuine and caring with them. Will that build your self-esteem? How are you going to feel about yourself when you know that girl at supermarket was like so thankful to you because nobody talked with her and everybody treats her like shit, right? And you were not. And just make it a habit. And watch what's going to happen with your self-esteem when you realize how much impact you can make on people around you. So I would say this would be, connecting with other people, focusing on them, and then looking at yourself, praising yourself, giving yourself compliments, definitely would help with self-esteem. The other thing is that you need to sit down and write down, who do you want to be, right? What kind of person do you want to be? And just be. Strive to be that person on a daily basis. Operate from, from a place of being that person. And that's how you build your self-esteem. And that's how people will see that, because people see you the way you view yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you view yourself with respect, you are that person that you're striving to be, right? You know you're growing, you know you're impactful. That's how this is who you're going to become. There's no other way. It has to happen internally first.
Yeah, it also goes, it sort of goes back to you get what you tolerate. They're going to see you the way that you see yourself, because that's what you're projecting. That's what you're accepting about yourself. This is who I am. So this is who you're being. And so that's what they're going to see. Right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And people on the call, on the phone, that's how they see you too, right? As a closer.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about talking to strangers a little bit. I want to go into just communication with others. Just one point that we want to make. Tatiana was talking about talk to strangers, which is a big deal. And just turning your transactions, like let's say at a store or just very surface level conversations, into interactions where you're asking genuine questions, actually caring about the other person and creating a connection and seeing the impact that you have in their life, and not doing it for that reason, but it'll boost your self-esteem, right? Make you feel good. But even on Discord, just connecting it to that, talk about a little bit, how to connect on Discord with other people and the good that can come as well. Because we might not all have the ability to often go out and, find random strangers to talk to, or maybe we're a little shy. So how can we take that first step on Discord?
You just make the step. That's how you make the step. So if you can't go out, right, and talk with people, and I want to go back to actually, what Sifu said, that closing happens everywhere, right? It's not necessarily a phone call. It's not necessarily a sales process. It happens everywhere. So anyone you talk to, you either are closed by someone or you close someone, right? On your idea, on your personality, whatever it may be. So Discord is the best tool ever to meet strangers, different personalities, different, like, two genders, right? Different cultures, different background, different language. This is the best ever place to interact with strangers. Okay, fine. If you are not going to structure a role play, like a sales call, you're still interacting with a stranger and you're still closing, right? It's still a process. And you got to make it intentional. You got to make everything you do in your life intentional, especially when it comes to interaction with people and communication and building relationships. So there's always, like, when somebody asks you, hey, how are you, right? There's no intent in it, and you feel it and you don't bother even answering. But when you get that question asked with intent, you feel that too. And that makes you, want to share something with them and open up. So on Discord, it's the same. Okay, if you want to role play, you can role play. You can, have a sales call. But then at the same time, you can just connect with a person and intentionally ask them questions about them. Make it about them. Focus on them. Get out of your own head and focus on them and be there for them and listen to them and give them empathy and give them some raw truth and, guide them with your questions. It can be done this way too. So it doesn't necessarily have to end with a transaction at the end with credit card or something like that, right? It can be just a connection, but intentional. Don't just do blah, blah, blah. It's empty. It's energy drainer. Make it intentional.
Yeah, well, right on, Bogdan. I close people on joining masterminds. Great job.
Good.
So, yeah, that's a genuine connection too. You're adding value, and I'm sure they'll appreciate it. So I hope you realize, and if you haven't yet, because maybe you're, a season 14, you will eventually realize, like Tatiana is saying, even if you just have a genuine conversation, let's say on Discord, you're still closing, because you will find that a lot of, I don't want to call them necessarily techniques, but just the philosophies of closing, you're going to start using them in your everyday conversation. You will just become a different type of communicator, because it's just a higher level of communication. So you're still practicing your self-esteem, your communication, your tonality, all the different ways that you can communicate with people and connect with them. You're still doing it even though you're not closing for a transaction, like Tatiana was saying. And remember, Discord is a place to connect with strangers that doesn't really have much risk. It's a safe place. We're all HTC. We've all been taught to be respectful, and we're there to connect. If someone's on Discord, they're not there just to, be there and not talk, right? So don't be shy. Just interact with people, right? Just
Hey,
starts with popping into a room and saying hi. Go ahead.
Sorry, can I say something real quick? Bogdan said, my 2-year-old closes me all the time, and I'm supposed to be the high-ticket closer within the house. Okay, does anybody know why kids are such great closers? Why they're the best closers? My kids close me all the time too, okay? So my son is like the best salesperson on the block, okay? He can go knock on people's doors and sell them stuff and some weird, I don't know, shells from the sea. So why is that? Exactly. Yes, Olaf. They do not have all of that BS, all of that conditioning, all of the lower self stuff that was, that we have now, we accumulated. They're pure. They live in their higher self until we adults like force them to calm down, relax. It's not okay to say that, and put them in that lower self mode, right? That's why kids close so easy. They go for it. They want to sell anything. If they want to sell something, they believe in it, and they're gonna freaking close as much as they want, because there's nothing that's holding them back, right? Do you think they're attached? No, they just want to close, and they go for it without any limitation, without any mental BS telling them, oh, you're not good enough, or you can't do it, or he's not going to buy, or he doesn't like it. What if he's going to ask me this? Yeah, it's just, we got to clean ourselves up from that. That BS is exactly what is holding people back. We are the only ones that are standing on our own way, so we need to get out of there. So good point about kids. I learn from mine every single day.
Nice. We should have a mastermind with your kids. Get them to be the coaches.
We could.
Here's how to sell
Hey,
people on buying cookies and seashells.
Yeah, well,
Awesome.
now they learned about money, so it can be expensive if you want to mastermind with them.
Cool. So speaking of seashells and moving very, very smoothly to the idea of the beach and crabs, let's talk about crabs. So I mentioned that Discord is kind of it's a safe environment, right? If you go out and you talk to strangers, you might, right? You got to accept the fact you might just find someone who's having a bad day or who's a crab, so on and so forth. So how would you, we learned from Sifu already. He's taught us kind of how to deal with it, but what kind of thoughts do you have on dealing with crabs in your life?
And crabs. Okay, well, I can only share my experience and my perspective. I really don't have a problem with cutting off the crabs out of my life, right? Because I know that I am the owner of my life, and I'm the one who allows certain people in my life, and I'm also the one who's gonna get them out, right, kindly. So if you feel like there is a person that is, or people that are not supportive, and there will be a lot of, people like that, which is fine, that's understandable. Again, they're unsupportive not because they don't love you or think you're, dumb or something like that. No, they want the best for you, and that's all they know, right? They know what they know, they don't know what they don't know. So you stop communicating with them as much as possible. That was my approach, right? I said, I'm busy. I said, you know what, I love you and I miss you very much, but I'm actually working on something that is very important for me. So I'm busy. I want to focus on that. If somebody doesn't understand it, then that is not my emotion, right? It has nothing to do with me. Or like, I'm sorry if you don't understand it, you can be sad about it, but it's a fact. It is what it is. So you don't just, tell them, get out of my life and be mean about it. No, you explain them so they understand, and that's it. But you don't waste your energy anymore on that, because they will hold you back. And like Seafood talks about environment all the time, this is so true. You have to be very intentional and mindful of who you surround yourself with. And if it's a crab, do not surround yourself with a crab. Have it, again, it comes with self-esteem. Have the guts to speak the truth. Have the guts to speak your truth. Not
That's
in a
the thing.
rude way, not in a mean way, in a respectful, loving way.
Yeah. Again, it comes to having high self-esteem, having a strong mindset. You know that this is what you have to do if you want to keep growing, right? Knowing what you want, having a strong enough mindset and high self-esteem to be okay with doing that in a respectful manner so that you can keep moving towards what you want while allowing them to, not be hurt by it or anything like that. But how they feel, like, it's your responsibility not to be a jerk to them, but
Yeah.
how they take it, if you did it in a respectful manner, that's not really for you to worry about, in a sense, right? In a general sense. Yeah. And again, so that comes to the mindset. Like, you have to work on it to where you're comfortable doing that.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, very true. And sometimes you may love them. It can be your family, right? But it's okay to maybe limit. I do have family too, right? That are maybe don't understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing that. I'm different, that I'm changing, right? But it's still my life. It's my responsibility. I don't need a bunch of cheerleaders and telling me if I'm doing something right or wrong. I know what I'm doing, and that's enough for me to know. So just be respectful, be, kindly say like, look, I'm, right now I have a different priority. I'm going to focus on that. I miss you and I love you, but I don't really have time right now. That's it. Short and sweet. Again, different personalities, and we'll get into gems a little bit, right? You can deliver that message in a different way, depending what is your gem and what is that person's gem, right? So you got to be still intentional with that, and not make them feel too terribly like you're full of hate, but just deliver that message in the right way.
Yeah, you just need some tact, right? Tactfulness. And that technically comes with practice and just self-awareness, I guess.
Yep, and strong frame. Close them on not being a crab in your life.
Yeah. Cool. Let's talk a little bit about building rapport, since we're on the topic of, talking to people, in the correct way to respect them. And when you're on a closing call, just how to build some rapport. How would you go about building that rapport? A lot of people, they might see rapport as one specific thing, but it's actually kind of nuanced. Do you want to talk about that, Tatiana?
Yeah, rapport. I'm just thinking, looking back at all of my calls, the best ones had the best rapport. The best ones had the best connection. And the easiest way to learn how to build rapport and build it easily and kind of in a flowy way is to be curious about that person, is to have that genuine, curiosity and interest in their life. Because if you have that, think about when you connect with your friend, the friend that you love, right? You're asking them something, you listen to them with intent, you hear what they're saying, you hear how they're saying, you pick up on the smallest vibration of their tone, right? Their tonality. If they say something, you can ask, oh, why did you say it this way? Right? So it's not only about the words, the rapport, it's about really so listening with such intent to the tonality, to the voice, to what they're saying, and being fully in them, like totally paying attention to them, right? Giving your all to that person. And it has to happen not only once in the beginning, right, of the call. Like, hey, how's the weather on your end? You know, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. No, it has to happen throughout, right? Sometimes you can build a rapport by, okay, in the beginning, you're curious to know about that person. You just want to, you know, find out a bit more about them. Then you get into their situation, and the best way to keep that rapport is to show them empathy, right? To sometimes you can relate to something that they say. Sometimes you just sit there quietly and maybe mimic their, you know, breath or sigh or something like that, right? So sometimes the rapport is going to be sharing their excitement when they're talking about dreams, getting into their emotions, right? That will help strengthen their rapport as well. So it's not just in the beginning. It's throughout the call, throughout the whole conversation. And what is the best way to practice rapport? Like, what's the easiest and the best way to practice if you're not good at it? Rapport was my weakest link, by the way. The rapport was something that I struggled a lot because I could not just build that connection with people. But what's the best way to practice that?
That's a good question. It's going to be gold coming up. Put in the chat. What do you think?
Yeah, he said it so many times. Like it,
Mm-hmm.
it should be engraved in our brain right now. It's talking to strangers. Yes, yes.
Good job.
Because you have no idea who that person is, and you gotta find out, right? So you gotta build that interest, you gotta build that curiosity, and be there for them. That's how you're gonna learn, build rapport fast. It's not about the questions that you ask. It's just going for it, getting into that person. I don't know, you're not going to get in the person, but getting in their head and their soul. Because essentially what you want to do, you want to connect with that person to the point where you can connect with their higher self. Everyone has their higher self, right? And that's what you're trying to do. So that's why, again, Discord would be the best place to find strangers. You can do it in real life, or online. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. And you had mentioned something that stuck out to me. It's you shouldn't be trying rapport. A lot of times people think you're trying to be likable, right? So that they connect with you. But you said, don't try to make them like you, just be you.
No.
Right?
No. Yeah, you don't need, okay, you need to like yourself, okay? That's all you need. You don't need other people to make other people like you, because that what that is going to do is you're going to become people pleaser, or it's going to be fake. So you don't need to be doing that. You like yourself, and then you just, you know, be genuine and curious about those people. They don't need to like you. You need to connect with them. Yeah, then exactly. I'd rather have people hate me for who I am than love me for who I am not. That is so, so true. And I'll tell you, your only, you know, your ultimate, the best version of yourself, your higher self, is your true, authentic you. There is no other person like you in this world. And when you close them, right, you close them with your personality, with your true, authentic self. And people can feel it and sense it and see it and know it. Okay, so when you pretend to be either likable or confident, it's fake. It's not going to work. You got to be it first, and then it's going to show through. So yeah, do not pretend to be somebody else. You can pretend to be your best version, right? Who you want to be, and you'll just catch up with this. But be your authentic self, your true self.
Amazing. All right, we're going even deeper into some more practical stuff, where now we're going to talk about when we're on the call. So when we're actually on the call talking to people, one of the things that Sifu mentioned on last class, and it's almost shocking when you hear it for the first time. He says calls shouldn't be a pleasant experience.
Mm-hmm.
I want to
Right.
hear your thoughts.
Well, because you go deep, right? You talk about things which usually are feelings that a lot of people avoid talking about. A lot of people avoid even talking to themselves about their own emotions and feelings, right? So that's why sometimes it shouldn't be pleasant, because if it's pleasant, it's going to be a friendly conversation and it doesn't have any impact, right? Only when you tap into those emotions, this is when the impact is happening. And you know, when you have a strong frame, your identity, right, is strong. You are not afraid to talk about feelings, to ask those tough questions. And a lot of times you will find out people never even thought about it this way, right? They never even thought about their feelings, like what are they after? What kind of problem they're trying to solve? If they say they want to make more money, that's so superficial, right? There is a bigger why behind it, and you need to get there, and it is not comfortable. It is
Yep.
definitely not comfortable for the prospect. Also, I like to think of it as we need to take them to the truth. Take them down in the deep water and show them the truth. So the choices that you've made up until now in your life created the reality, the result that you have right now, right? So for you to have a different reality for what you want, you need to start making different choices, right? Making different decisions. And it is painful for some people to realize that they have been doing the same decision, the same action all the time, expecting a different result. But what's more painful is that when they realize what is the consequences of that, what's going to happen if they don't change that, right? What is going to be affected? And you shouldn't be afraid to ask, how do you think it's going to affect, I don't know, your children, your future relationship, your current relationship, right? Take them to the truth, exactly. Show them the truth, the reality of the situation, so they can move, so they can make the change. Because we know people can make the change. The past does not define your future. Any point in time, they can take a different decision, make a different choice, make that change, turn their life around. Sometimes people need to experience pain in order to be moved. Not all. That's why you need to pick up on their gym, right? Some people are moved by vision, by goal, by achievement. But some people need to see the raw truth of who they became, what they have, and it's their responsibility to change that. So that's why it's not a pleasant experience. Speaking, you know, not a lot of people speak about their feelings, right? They hide them. They numb them. They don't want others to know how they feel. And when somebody, if they are genuinely caring and asking them those questions, yes, it's tough, but they would want to share that because they feel understood and listened to. They also look at you as their guide. I wouldn't say a mentor, but somebody they look up to when you're acting based on your higher self, right? From your higher self. So it's not going to be a pleasant experience. But at the end of the call, when you hear that, wow, thank you so much, I've got so much clarity, you know you've done the job. You know you've done everything you could and the best you could to make an impact. And guess what? Sometimes people do not make financial commitment, but then they come back. And they say, you know what, after we talked, I couldn't sleep for 3 days. I've been thinking about it. I've never thought about it this way. You made me feel a certain way. So I did my best. And in 3 months, I gathered the funds and I'm going to do it. All of it because of your clarity that you gave me and the feelings that I've experienced. So this is what should be the goal on a closing call, not just getting a credit card. Yeah, money is in the bank is cool, but that shouldn't be something that drives you to do it. If you're here just to collect credit cards, be a cashier. Like this is not the right place then. You're here to make that impact on them, give them that clarity, Help them get out of that box. Show them how much is available to them. Help them find their higher self, their true self, their authentic self, their power. So that's why you do this. Yeah. And again, one more thing. Sorry, Patrick. I'm on a roll.
Go for it.
So one more thing, when Sipo says, don't be attached, right? What is it? How is that? How are you not attached? Because you don't focus on the transaction. That's how. Because you don't, see the dollar signs in your eyes, and you're there to give them clarity. You're there to make an impact on them. Connect with their emotional world. That's how. And you will not be attached. You will not be needy. I'm done.
Yeah. Mic drop. Yeah. This whole concept, I will never forget the story that the Sarge, Desmond, he said once, where it's a little graphic for animal lovers, but it proves a point, and it's just fictitious, right? But there's this man on his porch, and he has his dog sitting next to him, and the dog is whimpering, and he's making noises of pain, and it's pretty loud. In fact, it bothers the neighbor. So the neighbor comes out on his porch, and he looks out to the other guy, and he says, why is your dog whimpering? What's going on? And the other guy says, he's sitting on a nail. And the neighbor asks him, well, why doesn't your dog just get up and sit somewhere else? And the other man says, I guess it just doesn't hurt enough.
Mm-hmm. So true.
So people, they complain, they want help, they want things to change, but sometimes they just don't realize how important it is, or how painful it is, or what the consequences might be if they keep going. So it's your job to connect with them, help them see the truth, make them feel that pain in a purposeful way. Obviously, don't just be, evil about it, but with that purpose, being intentional about it. And that's how you're going to help them.
I've also noticed a lot of people, they are so used to this feeling of being in pain, of suffering. They don't know any better. They don't know that there's actually another way of living, right? They're so used to it. It's been so long. So you need to wake them up, help them, be that bridge, to get out, to cross that river, right? To get out of this painful moment or situation where they don't want to be. They're calling you, they're on the phone with you because they don't want to be there anymore. They want to do something, but they don't know what. Yes, they're addicted to struggle. People are addicted to struggle. And they don't even know that there is another way to be. Just show them. Be that bridge. Show them. This is something that's going to help you get out of there. And they will do it.
And the question that's on my mind, and I just want to also play the role of just maybe some of you are thinking, how do you balance, like we're saying, build rapport and connection, right? But also make it an unpleasant experience. How do you balance the two, being direct and digging for pain and making them feel, the negative in their life, while also remaining, not necessarily likable, but, remaining connected to them and not someone who's just like this evil figure they don't want to talk to anymore.
Right, because you have an intent to help them, right? You're asking those questions to not, make fun of them or show them, what a shithole they created for themselves, right? You're not there for that reason. You're still, you have an intent to help them. So it's, you balance it out. You have the rapport, you're being direct because they need to hear it, because that's going to help them. And guess what? It's going to strengthen their rapport. It's going to help them.
Yeah.
And that's why your mind needs to be strong too, right? You can't get down on their level and take their story and believe in that story. Some of them tell so many stories to themselves. They believe in those stories. You shouldn't be believing in that, because that's just a story.
So true.
So yeah, you can't let them close you on their story, because that's what they're subconsciously, that's exactly what they're doing. Excuses of why they can't, why they couldn't, when they haven't done anything. That's all their story. They keep telling themselves this story, and they believe in this story.
Are you hearing
So
this? HTC, start to cut you off, Tatiana. This is extremely important. This might be the really important moment for HTC, because a lot of us, that's the thing. We're on the call like, okay, they're going to want to change. That's why they booked a call. And we talk to them and they start making excuses. They start giving objections. They start acting like they don't really care. And we're like, oh, I guess I was wrong. They don't really care. Or maybe they don't have time, or maybe they just don't have the money.
yep.
Maybe that's just a lie that they're telling themselves, right? Or that they're just trying to sell you on. And you're not going to help them if you just take that as the truth without doing anything on the call to remove the smoke and mirrors, or to test it, or to try and help them out, figure out what's really going on.
This is all is happening during the objections, right? You're getting those objections. There is a reason behind why you're getting the objections, but when you're getting them, these are all the stories. And if you buy into those stories, then that's why you don't help them eventually, right? So your questions, when you overcome objections, it's really, you are trying to get to the truth. You're not buying into their own story. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. Exactly.
Yeah. And talking about questions, on a more kind of technical note, like Sifu says, because when the objections come up or they're trying to figure things out and they might be giving you some BS, like if it's not the time for you to answer, Sifu says, always answer a question with a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? What's the concept behind that?
You need to understand why they're asking that question, right? You need to know what's behind that, because sometimes people will cover up is that they just need more information, but there is a reason why they're asking this question. So you don't need to be, answering, giving them a question to their question all the time to the point where it gets annoying. You need to acknowledge the question. You need to either tell them, okay, I've heard you, right? Let's cover it. I'm going to write it down. Why do you ask? Why is that important for you? You need to understand what is behind that. Where are they going with it, with this question? Right? It's normally not about the information. It's usually not about information. It's about their internal doubts. So, and just that's what it means, redirect, right? Don't be, because what will happen is they get the power. Once they start asking those questions, they have the power, they have the control over the conversation. You can't let that happen. You're not going to be leading conversation anymore. Then you just start answering the questions like a green monster, right? And then before you notice, you're going to go into features and benefits, how everything is great. So that you need to keep that control, and the way asking questions is the way to keep that control. Now there are gems, right? Different gems that we learned, for example, ruby and emerald, right? How do you redirect questions from them? Does anybody have idea, or what do you do? Because emeralds need to gather some data, right? They have questions, a lot of them. Rubies want to get what they want from you, right? And they want to move fast. So what do you do? What do you do?
Let's see what they say. And by the way, John Doherty said, because the question is not the question. He was saying, why do we redirect? That's true. Sometimes the question is just the question. You have to be able to know the difference, right? Sometimes it's just a question that you can answer, but then still keep charge of the conversation and come back at them. But you're right. Oftentimes the question is not the question. So people are saying, what can you do with emeralds and rubies? Contain them. That's okay. Give, answer, and redirect. Okay, so do the same thing. Finger jab.
Yep.
challenge the Ruby. Maybe you can talk about that, Tatiana. What do you think about challenging the Ruby if they ask you a
Yeah,
question?
challenging the Ruby is good. I wouldn't challenge when they ask a question, right? What I like to do is I give them very short 1 to 3 words answer, right? Just to give them a sense of that they have heard, right? I acknowledge what they asked. I gave them the answer, and then I ask my own question to where it becomes a conversation. It's not, so it flows, right? They don't even feel it. And 99% of the time, they forget about the question that they ask, okay? Because it's not about that. So yeah, with emeralds, give them the answer. It's okay. And with rubies, for example, if you redirect once, they ask you that question again, I really wouldn't, annoy them even more if they keep asking them. Just give them a very short, concise answer and ask your own question and move on, right? Because you're the one leading conversation still, you're the one in control. When challenging a ruby, yeah, to a degree. You don't want to be, throwing, so you found out that person is a ruby, you don't want to be challenging them in every single question you ask. A couple times is fine.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't overdo it. Okay,
Yeah.
you gotta trigger them a little bit, and that should be good. Don't overdo it.
Yeah, there's got to be a reason why you're challenging them, right? Don't let that be your go-to thing. If they ask you a question, you're just gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna frustrate them. They'll be like, "Why are you being hostile or not answering my question or this or that?" Right? It's got to feel natural the way that you respond to them.
Yes. Yeah, it's gonna flow. Yeah, you gotta give them. You gotta acknowledge what they ask. You gotta hear them out, right? So they will feel understood. A lot of times you just say simple yes and no, and yes, we'll discuss that later. I make a note of it, and that's enough. They just want to be heard.
Yeah. Okay. So we are running really well here. I'm sure we've gotten a lot. Put in the chat if you've gotten already some ahas, if you've taken down a lot of notes. I'm sure Tatiana would love to see that she's helping you out. We're happy to do this. And we're about to go into a quick live role play. But first, we just want to talk a little bit about role playing on Discord, since that's kind of the main thing that's going on for you guys right now, right? Is the role playing, the practicing, the application. So when you're role playing on Discord, one thing that's very popular is we're just getting started. Maybe we're a little shy or we're a little nervous. And a thing that happens a lot is maybe there's a role playing going on with a few people, and then more people join in, and now it's this massive room with just a list of people just listening, with obviously 2 people doing the role playing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, people just listening in, other people, the other ones doing the role play. What are your thoughts on that, Tatiana?
It's funny when that happens. Okay, so just remember, everyone is just as nervous as you are. Okay, so a lot of people are listening in. They're kind of hiding a little bit. So everyone is in the same position, the same situation, because it's a little scary to go for a role play, especially in the beginning, when you kind of understand, you're aware of your skill set, right? So you need to work on it, but that's the only way to work on it. So what I did when I was role playing, so I would start, let's say, with 1 or 2 people in the room. I will not look at the screen. Like, I will not let this distract me from being, with being fully engaged with the role play. So I'm not going to look at the names. I'm not going to look at the people who join. I'm not going to look at how many people are there listening. It's just me and the person I role play. That's it. And at the end of the role play, I will look at the screen and there's like 20 people there. Well, I didn't know. It didn't bother me a bit, right? Because I had no idea. Also, when you are scared to go for role play, let's say there are a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of situations like this when who wants to go next, and everyone is quiet, right?
Classic.
So just think about that. You are here because you are not happy with your current reality and you want to start making different choices. That is going to be your different choice, to go for a role play, because your choices of not doing anything led you to where you are. So now it's time to make that different choice. I feel the fear, but I do it anyway. Everybody has fear and will always have. It's just acting in spite of it is going to get you the results. So make the different choice. Don't care about other people's opinion about your skill set. The only opinion you're going to get from, if you ever, which is not going to happen on Discord, if somebody is going to give you like a bad opinion, bad feedback, just know that their skill set is even worse than yours, just simply because of that, negative feedback. Everyone here is to learn, but you got to learn. You got to go for it.
Yep. And that being said, it is time to do a role play. So we want someone from season 14, all right? If you are season 14, and let us be clear, if you're not driving, if you are, pull over, but we want a good mic, good quality. There's always people who they're either not from the season, or they're driving, or there's a lot of noise in the background. Just make sure you're in a nice, quiet place where you can focus, because if you choose to be the person to raise their hand from season 14 and role play with Tatiana, you're gonna get some good feedback, and you're obviously gonna progress a lot faster, right? That's the whole point of role playing. So if you can see on Zoom, there's a little raise hand button. There should be. You just raise your hand if you're a season 14, and we'll see. So boom, we got Usman, who is season 14, and he's the first one to raise his hand. Now,
Awesome.
Usman, yeah, we're gonna unmute you, and I'll let you to talk with Tatiana. So you are now. You can unmute yourself. Awesome. You should be able to talk, Usman.
Hello.
Hello. Hey.
Hi, Tatiana. How are you?
I'm doing great. Usman, how are you?
Good.
Ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So you want to practice HTC?
Yes, let's do that.
All right. I'm calling you. Ring, ring.
Hello, who is this?
Excuse me?
Hello, who is this, please?
We have a call scheduled, Usman.
Oh, let me see. Oh, you're right. You're right. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Like we do have a call scheduled right now, right?
Yeah. Okay, hold on and pause. Am I the closer or
You're the
the
closer.
prospect?
You're
I
the
am the closer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do it again. Sorry.
Ring, ring.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good. This is Usman. How can I help you?
Hey, Usman. Actually, I saw this ad by Dan Locke, so I'm just calling to see, what is it all about?
Oh, you're talking about the HTC program, the high ticket closer program?
Yeah, something about closing. I'm not sure what it is. Like, I really don't have any background in closing. So can you help me understand what is it all about?
Oh, so what did you learn so far? Did you check anything about it? Did you try to do some little research?
I saw an ad. Not too much of a research. I thought it'd be, faster to just call you and find out from you. But did you take the program?
Yes, I'm actually one of the students, previous students. So let me
Oh,
ask you, Tatiana, did you like to be called Tatiana?
that's my name.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what did you know so far about the HTC program?
Oh, like I said, just not much actually. I watched the video, the training that he had online. So it's something about closing high ticket deals, which I'm not sure what is high ticket, and to make more money, right? Is that correct? Is that what you do?
It is. So high ticket, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it, and then we can move on. So, but
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great.
before I move on with you, how long have you been following Dan?
Oh, just a couple of days. I don't know, not much. I just saw him on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
How long have
So
you
Dan,
been?
oh, I've been there for quite a while, like a year or something.
Oh,
But
wow.
I am one of the few students that have done the high ticket closer program. It is a program that actually help people to develop these high income skills. So it doesn't matter where you start or where you're coming from. So, but
Wow.
let
Okay.
me ask you, why do you think this is important for you?
Well, I don't know yet. I'm not really, I'm not really sure what is it all about. So, actually, I'm happy to know that you are his student. So you've been doing it for a year, you said, right? And you didn't
Yes.
have any closing experience before that?
No, I did not have any closing experience, but I can tell you that it has paid some dividends for me. But
Hmm.
it depends on where we are. So I guess I just want to know why are you so much interested in it? Or are you interested at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to know what is it all about. So he talks about making money, so it'd be nice to make more money. How soon you said you got some nice dividends? Like
So
how
you
soon did you
you
start?
really you really want to make money?
Yeah, isn't what Dan is teaching?
So does that mean that you are not making money now, or is it that the kind of money that you're making is not enough for you, or what's
No,
the
I want to
deal?
make more money. I want to make more money.
So what
So
do you do right now for a living?
I have a job.
Oh, so do you like your job?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's not really about the job for me. It's making more income. So that's why I was curious. How long did it take you to start making money? Because I really don't want to, like, go learn something for a year or two or three before I start making money. So how long did it take you?
Well, uh, how long it took me, I cannot tell you for so I couldn't recall off my head right now, but all I can tell you about the program is it helps you to develop a high income skills where in itself it can me what I found so fascinating about it or good great about it is that I am my own self. I have this independence that I can do whatever I want to do and I'm working for myself basically. That's the kind of high income skills. But everybody has a different purpose. I guess that's why I'm asking you, like, why is it so much important to you? Because if it is for the job, I'm sure you are very comfortable at where you are in life, right?
Well, I'm okay. I mean, it's not. I'm not looking to be comfortable. I'm looking to
What do
make
you
money.
mean you are okay? What do you mean by you okay?
It's fine. I can't complain about my life.
So that means it's okay for you to be where you are. There's no problem.
No, there's no problem. I just want to make more money.
Well,
So
if
is
you
that?
want to make
Mhm.
that, well, if you want to make more money, don't you think it's okay? Do you think it's still okay when you really want to make money?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
So,
I'm not following you. Like I'm really not following you right now. So if you're asking about my goal, why I'm interested in this is, yeah, just to generate income, because that's what he said. That's what Dan said in the video, right? It's going to help you generate more income in less time, basically because you're closing, which I'm not really clear, how that
so did I
works
did
or,
I did I hear you talk about generating more income?
yeah, yeah, make more money.
So that so I can I uh, you thought of this program, but then at the same time your main interest is to make more money. So that means going back to your statement saying you okay. Are you really really okay, Tatiana?
Yeah, I'm okay.
So life is good.
Life is good, but I want to make more money.
Life is not good
Life
when
is
you want
gonna
to
be,
make more
no,
money.
life is gonna be even better with more money. Wouldn't you agree?
Why do you need a better life when you're where you are okay?
Well, wouldn't you want to have better life?
Oh, so you don't have a better life? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean that I want to have a better life by making more money. That's going to be better for me. So can we get to the point? Like what is the time frame where I can actually see the ROI?
There's no time frame. Basically, what it does is you get the skill set that will help you to have an income where at your own terms, because what you do is you really develop the skill set that I can guarantee you that if you go to a job,
Mm-hmm.
you are at the mercy of the people that employ you. But wouldn't you want to have a kind of skill set where you are at your own mercy, where you are not answerable to any employer, your independence? For me, if I should share part of my story, is my independence is important to me more than my income. So that motivates you. But that's why I guess why I'm asking all these questions as to why. But if life is good with you, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure why you still want to have more money.
Because I want to make it better. I mean, yeah, if, I think maybe we're just a little different. Making more money does motivate me. So that's the reason why I was trying to find out, what's the time frame? How does it work? Is it that Dan is the one that is teaching, and how often, how long it is, all of those things. I'm just not clear. So is this,
Tatiana,
uh-huh.
do you like your job?
Yeah, I like my job. Nothing wrong with my job.
Do you want to stay in your job forever?
Well, not forever, but at this point, I'm fine.
Do you really? What do you mean? What did you say? I didn't hear you very well. Sorry.
At
Can you
this
repeat
point,
that?
I'm fine. At this point, I don't see anything wrong with my job.
So you have a plan to get out of your job.
No,
Is that what you're saying? You say you will not like it forever. That means
that's
that
not what I'm saying. No, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I want to make more money, and there is
you want to
nothing
make
wrong
more
with my job.
money and eventually you have an exit route, right?
Eventually, I want to have more money so I can buy more stuff for myself and do things that I want to do.
But forever, the forever part of your job is that you want to eventually have an exit route where you can have your
I don't
own.
know. I don't know. If I get sick of it, maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, you're not.
So,
Uh, Say it again.
like I don't want to I don't want to kind of waste our time, but is what is the time frame to learn this, right? How long is it, and how long does it usually take for someone who has zero experience to to learn the skill and to apply it and start generating income?
Well, I can guarantee you that the program is 7 weeks intensive program, and it's based of more
Mm-hmm.
of implementation because you do a lot of practice during the program that will help you to be good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you have the skill set that nobody can take away from you. No job can take it from you. Nothing can take it from you except yourself. And then you have that opportunity to start living life at your own terms. That's how I'm going to explain it for myself. That's what it did for me. Well,
Mm-hmm.
to talk about how soon you're going to have the money, that depends on how much you apply yourself. That I can clearly tell you that. So, but then if your interest is more of having money and also you be get out of your job because you say you don't want to live in your job,
No,
be on your job
no.
forever.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with my job. It's just I really want to know and learn a skill so I can make more money. So you said it's 3 weeks and then, yeah, I get it. Like if I implement
7 weeks.
fast and if I
7 weeks.
apply fast, oh, 7 weeks, sorry. And if I
Yeah.
apply fast, then I'll start making money fast, right? Do you have like a description of what is included so I can take a look?
Well, I can send you some links and you
Okay.
learn more about it. But it sounds
Yeah.
like you did not review. Did you do the 4-day training course before?
No, I haven't done. Yeah, can you send me that? I don't mind doing it.
Yeah, I will think I should send you that, then we can schedule another call. Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be perfect. Well, actually, I'm
Okay.
gonna let you know if I need another call or if I kind of got it.
You're going to what?
I will let you know if I need another call or no.
So let's say you watch the video. What do we do next, Tatiana?
I don't know. Depends on how I feel about the video.
Okay.
I need to get some insight, some understanding. I'm not very clear what is it all about. So if you can
That's
send
the
me
whole
those
reason.
links, then
That's the
that's
whole reason why I
helpful.
want to send you the link. Sorry, I'm talking over you. What do you say?
No, I said I think I got everything I needed, so I just need the link.
Okay. So after the link, so we can set up another call. Is that what
Maybe
you
if
say?
I need it. No, that's not what I said. I said if I want to set another call, I will let you know. If I don't, I will let you know too.
Yeah, I would like to know that. Thank you. I'll send you send me your email and everything, and I'll send you the link.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah. Thank you so much, Usman. Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, good job. Hey, you did great. You were not nervous. You did awesome. So good job. Well done.
Thank
And
you. Thank you. I was
no,
trying.
no, I know in front of so many people, like this is definitely not easy, but I'm going to tell you that this is going to have such a huge boost for your skill set. And you
Yeah.
did an amazing
Yeah.
job. You really did an amazing
I was trying to not to look at the comments because I put the screen away,
Yeah.
so I was using the headphones and talking to you.
Yeah, don't distract yourself. You
Yeah.
only need to be listening to me, and it's only you and me, no one else. Okay, so kind of
Yeah.
that's what I say in Discord. Like you need to forget that there are other people listening because it's gonna mess with your mind, right?
That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did.
No, you
Thank
did
you so
great.
much.
So sure, your
I was
I want
trying
to.
to
Mhm.
I was trying to set up another time because I know that I've hit the wall, like the brick wall right there. I was also trying to get into like something that is so personal to you. Why is it so important to you? I don't know. So that's why I was asking those questions, but I guess I was asking a lot. So I'm like, okay, let me just help her understand it first, then we can set up another appointment. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get it. Why do you think you hit the wall with me? Why do you think I backed out and I closed off? And I did sound a little irritated, if you could tell. Why do you think that
Yeah,
happened?
yeah. At some point, you were focused on the money and you were trying to get me to answer specific questions. So I was trying to take the power away from you by asking you questions that are more personal to you, like your job. At some point, you were saying that you don't want to stay in your job. So I want to use that route to get into more personal things. But I guess that's where you stopped. Like you were like, okay, I still like my job. Earlier you said I don't want to be there forever. So I want to know the reason why. So that's why I was asking that question. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't have any sales experience. Whoever is writing that to me, this is my first time. I have no sales experience.
Good
Seriously.
for you. Good for
I
you.
guess I guess I've created a I've created a YouTube box where I have to watch just Sifu's videos. I've watched that a lot. That I did. No sales experience.
So I'll tell you what
Hmm.
happened is that
Yeah.
I was not heard. Okay. Because
Oh.
the way where you were going, right, with the
Hmm.
questions you were going, that
Yeah.
was based on your assumptions. It was not based on what I tell
Oh.
you. Okay.
I
So my
see.
job
I
was
see.
fine. I said my job is okay. Um, my income is fine, but I want to do better because I want to buy more stuff and I want to make more money. That is my need. So that's where you needed to go, exactly into that, right? So
Yes, yes.
because this is how I would feel heard and understood. So it's not about what you think is my situation. It's more about
Okay,
what
okay, okay.
is my situation. Make sense?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wouldn't hurt for you to understand, first of all, what is more money for me? More money, is it
Exactly,
$1
exactly,
more
exactly.
or $5 more or $5,000 more? What is it?
So, in response to what you said about that, what would be the ideal question at that point?
So first of all, because I did have questions, right, about your experience, about what is it all about, all of that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So just acknowledge them and say, okay, so I got your questions. You want to know this and this, anything else? And I will think and I will give you the questions and you will
Yeah.
say, okay, we will make sure we'll cover those questions throughout our call. But
Oh,
before we do that, help me understand. What are you looking
okay. Oh, I'm writing notes right now.
for? Oh, yeah, definitely. So help
I'm
you
writing
understand.
notes. Yeah.
Remember, you need the purpose of the conversation is really for you to understand why I'm here, why I'm curious about the program, why what is my need, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's simply what you do. No need to get away from questions. Just acknowledge you've heard them, and that
Okay.
will help
Okay.
with the rapport too, because we didn't really have much rapport, but
Oh.
that would help with a rapport.
Okay. Okay. So then, during the conversation, I can be answering those questions while, but the main focus should be on you. Why you here? Why
Yeah,
you need to be here?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, make it
Okay.
all about me, all
Okay.
about my needs, all about my, like, it's not necessarily that you will know somebody's problem in the very beginning. Most likely people will not share that, right? A lot of people come
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that they don't have a
Yeah.
problem. But then you would
Yeah.
find out if you focus on my needs, that will build that trust between you and me, right?
Oh, okay, okay. Right. That is a good feedback. Thank you so much. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. Thank
No,
you.
you did awesome. Tonality was
Thank you.
great. The way everything, the way you were redirecting, so you were obviously applying things that you're learning. So good job, awesome. So
Yeah,
much better than
thank you so
my
much.
first
Okay, thank you. Right.
one more question before you go. What is my
Yeah.
gem?
Your gem sound
Mhm.
to me like an emerald, like you want some details. Did I get that right?
Mm, not really.
I need to read about these gems a little more, so
Mm.
bear with me. So bear with me. It's not sapphire. Is it a ruby?
It is a ruby.
Yes, it is a
So
ruby. Yeah.
yeah.
You
Well,
just focus on the results so much. Yeah.
so I'll tell you why. Is because so I wanted to get to the point, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to not waste time. I wanted to, and I said that, right? Let's not waste time. Let's just move on,
Mhm. Mhm.
get to
Mhm.
the point. And then I
Yeah.
was focusing on what I can get, right? On making money. That is my outcome. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ruby,
Results driven.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Results driven. So
Mhm.
there are two gems that are more vision focused, right? Outcome focused, and
Yeah.
this ruby and sapphire. They look forward. They're driven by result. They're driven by what is coming, right? And there are
Okay.
two gems that are more trying to escape the problem. They're not as much focused on the future. They're just trying to escape the problem, get out of the problem, which is emerald and pearl. Okay, so whenever you see
So
something, uh-huh.
my question, I guess, is in that if Ruby and Sapphire are the one that are so much results driven, they're focused on that. You pretty much will expect a lot of questions from them, in terms of, like you were asking, like the money, how soon will I get my money back or something like that. So my question, I guess, is I should just focus on acknowledging those questions, but still trying to, because if I try to understand why you're here already, I focus on your need, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the questions that you ask, they are very vague questions in terms of what answer should I give you. Let's say, like, how soon do you get the money? It depends on how you apply yourself, and a lot of things are involved in that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Not really.
You know, a lot of things are involved in terms of when you were asking me whether how soon should I get the money?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How soon will I start making money? That was your focus, right?
Yeah. That's my focus. But then again, I took control over conversation, and you can get flooded with questions that are not
Yeah.
necessarily so important. But simply because I have control, remember, who is asking the question has the control, right? So if I go
Yes.
one after another, I'm going to have more and more questions, right? That will give
Mm.
me the answer to what I'm looking for. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
what you asked, and you did pretty well. You were still redirecting, trying to understand me. But my biggest advice would be: do not
Hmm.
project, do not assume, never ever assume. Just ask.
Yes, Usman is a Ruby. That's right. Whoever wrote that comment, I am a Ruby.
Mhm.
I am a Ruby. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, try not to cut people off,
Okay.
right, when
Okay.
you're on the
Okay.
call,
That's okay. Yeah. No problem.
especially
Yeah.
when you deal with a Ruby. Try not to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yep, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, so Usman, great job. I'm gonna mute you. Perfect. He just muted himself. And everyone, give a round of applause or some encouragement to Usman. That was actually very, very well done, Usman.
Yep,
And he
very
said he's got no sales experience. Wow. And thank you, Tatiana. You did a great prospect. Everyone was saying beautifully done. So let's go into some Q&A with the help of Vikas, who's gonna share with us some of the questions that are in there, or Tatiana, you can do it as well. And
All
we'll see what
right.
she wants to answer.
So again, friendly reminder, if you got any questions, not in the chat, put in the Q&A section so we'll be able to read it and answer them. So we'll start off with Dan Cody. How do we train our mindset every day?
Love this question. Okay, so Sifu gave us the tools, right? Everything we need, he gave us in class 1. Daily attitude of gratitude is a non-negotiable. I've been doing it so many times, not just one time a day. I know by heart what he's saying, okay? The way you do it though is just, you're not just putting it on and listening to it, you feel it. That's the key. And what is this gratitude? Why do you do gratitude? Is that you teach yourself to live in a state of abundance. And that's going to help you when you're on the call, you are in abundant state. You're coming in your higher self, not scarcity mode, not needy mode, not attached mode. So that is such a powerful tool. You can do it. You can sit down every single morning and write 5 things you're grateful for and feel them. Do not just write random things and, yeah, I'm done with it. No, you feel what you're writing. You have a goal, you write it down, and you feel that goal. You imagine that it already happened, right? The affirmations, when you do the daily affirmations throughout the day, you say them not just repeating, you actually say it with power. You give them the meaning. You make it intentional so that when you do it consistently, it becomes, you train your mind, right? So you become that. You start believing in that. Because right now, your mind, maybe your brain doesn't even have those connections, and you build them so that your mind believes in that. Because just remember this, whatever your mind can conceive, come up with, imagine, and believe, you can make it happen. You can make it a reality. So that's why it's so powerful. And then, yeah, the subconscious programming, you do it also. So since then, I've been doing those things. I was a very good student, by the way. So I've been doing all of that. Right now, I meditate. I do my meditation. You know, there are some things that I do, visualization exercises and things like that. So my mindset routine is at least an hour every single day, at least an hour. Today, I think it took me 2 hours. It's not that it took me. I enjoy doing that because I know how powerful it is, what a huge difference it's going to make. So again, the creed, Sifu gave us all the tools to bitch slap that lower self, but we need to apply them. Does that answer your question? Awesome, good.
All right, and the next question. Hello, Tatiana. Bogdan here. As a mother, how did you balance out HTC and life as a parent/wife in the beginning? How do you have enough time for your children, learning the skill, practicing skill, and applying and getting a return from the skill? I'm still finding that so-called balance.
Yeah, that's a good question. So you may find one of my videos, I talked about scripting my day. I've been doing that a lot. And I had scripted the time for my family, okay, for my children. My husband got least amount of time because he knew that was important for me. He knew it's a temporary thing that we need to kind of get over, right, in order to make our life better. So I was scripting. I was very intentional with everything I do. I lived by the calendar, still live by the calendar. I learned and, to be organized with my time. And when I spend time with my kids, if it's 2 hours, it's very, very intentional. Like I'm fully present with them. It's not about the quantity that we spend with them, it's about the quality, right? So I make sure it's quality time. Right now, fast forward, they know what I'm doing. I don't close my door anymore in my bedroom. I used to close it. They used to knock on it while I was speaking with a prospect. And I was like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? This is so awful. It's not gonna work. Like working from home is so difficult. Now I leave my door open. They can come in. I'm so relaxed. I'm fine. Again, it's because of the mindset, right? I'm not in scarcity mode anymore. They know what I'm doing. It's integration, right? There's no such thing as balance. It's integration. It becomes your lifestyle. It becomes you. In the beginning, just script out your days and have it in, a couple hours for your family or however you need it, and then be productive with the rest.
Well said. Good follow-up question that actually right here by Razmig. Tatiana, how do you overcome your initial lower self to become the super performer you are today?
Daily mindset work, listening to what Sifu says. Reading the creed, sometimes when I don't feel like, I believe everything it says, I made myself believe it. It's a daily, it's consistency. It's not supposed to happen overnight. You're not going to become a different person tomorrow. It's a little bricks that you're building for yourself. You got to be consistent. You got to be committed to make that happen. You also, number one thing, you actually have to believe that this is going to help you improve.
Q also asks, how do you find the strong sense that visualize the future and greater self?
I'm not sure if I understand.
I think the question he's trying to ask here is, how do you have a strong sense of purpose and how do you visualize the future?
Okay, well, you make a shopping list for yourself. Write down the things that you want in your life. I'm not talking buying stuff, right? What you want, how do you want to feel? Who do you want to be? How do you want to wake up every single day? What do you want your life to look like, right? And visualize that and feel that and believe that this is possible. If you can visualize this, if you can believe in this, it's possible. And think about it and act as if. Guys, this is such a powerful phrase, act as if. And I did not get it the first maybe 6 to 8 months since I started HTC. I didn't understand what does it mean, pretend or fake, what is it? Act as if is that you live every single day based on, like, all of your dreams came true. Like, you've reached your goal. You're living from that place. And you take actions and steps and choices from that place, right? From your future self. Visualizing is powerful. Having goals is powerful. If you don't have goals, it sucks. You gotta have goals.
Well said. Well said. Raymond Pang on Finn asks, what happens if you feel you're not able to control the sales interview? Should you cut it short or keep on trying?
You always keep on trying. You always do. You always do your best. You will not have perfect calls. Just, it's going to be a lesson. Make a lesson out of it. You're not going to close everyone, okay? You're not going to be perfect guide and leader on every single call. All you can do is get better and focus on being better. And don't punish yourself. Learn from it. That's it.
Carlos Torfon asks as well, hello Tatiana, amazing class today. How do you actually train yourself to get in the habit to perform your non-negotiable activities every single day and not fall into the lower self trap?
Priorities and values. What is your priority? You gotta close yourself. What's gonna happen if you fall into your lower self trap? What's gonna happen if you don't perform, if you don't keep the things that you promised yourself that you're gonna keep?
Mm-hmm. Well
What
said.
consequence is that gonna have on your life?
Boom. Okay, we'll take a two second breather here. Everyone breathe in. Breathe out. Just make sure you're awake. You're paying attention. We're almost done. We're almost at the end here. Just want to give everyone a 2-second break. Give Tatiana a break as well. I know we're literally shooting questions at her. We'll give her a 2-second break as well. In the meantime, Patrick, your thoughts on lower self as high performers begin to climb. People had this just notification. Also, Tatiana, you could come in after this one while we give the students a quick break here. But people tend to have this idea that lower self disappears the higher you climb. Is this true?
I guess it depends, right? Because like Tatiana says, you always have to be working on your mindset. And if you don't, theoretically, you won't climb as fast, but you might still be progressing. But since you're not taking care of your lower self, it might still be there. But I would say as you move up, it becomes more and more important to work on your mindset, right? There's always that place where you hit that plateau and you just don't know what's going on. It's the mindset. Work on the mindset. You will improve. And the lower self will always be there. Like Sifu says, he has the lower self as well, right? But he's gotten really good at taking control of it. And so, I don't know, me personally, I'm nowhere near Sifu's level, right? Or even Vicasa's level. So I'd love to hear your perspective as well from where you are, because you're even more high performing, right? And Tatiana as well. But I would say the lower self will always be there. And you constantly, the moment you forget or you think that, oh, now I'm good, I've reached this level of high performance that, you know, my lower self hasn't bothered me in a while, I'm good. What do you think's going to happen, right? That's kind of the trickiest part to be. The place to be is you forget that you have to make sure that you keep it in check.
Right.
Those are my immediate thoughts.
Can I add to that?
Yeah,
Something that I love when Desmond says there's always another devil for another level, right?
Yeah, at every level there's another devil.
Yeah, that. So yeah, the lower self is gonna stay. It's there. It's waiting for you to be weak, right? When you can kind of give in to that lower self. That's why your responsibility is to stay strong. So you always know you're aware whenever it comes up, right? You also have to be very aware and recognize it. That's step number one. You recognize what is going on. If you don't want to do something, if you don't feel like doing it, ask yourself a question. What is going on? Why am I not doing this if this is something that I wanted to do, if this is something that I committed to do? Is this my lower self talking? Or is this the something that, you know, my higher self would do, the best version of myself would do? It will always be there, but you can be stronger by doing it consistently. And then it's going to be easier to recognize it and then easier to deal with it.
Exactly. Like we talked about, you want to act and not react. So if you put that in perspective with or in context of the lower self, you want to be able to act on what you want to accomplish in your life and so on and so forth. You don't want to react when lower self starts creeping in or just pops up on you full throttle. So you got to be proactive. If you work on your mindset and all that good stuff every day, you're building that muscle. You're making sure that the lower self has less chance of bashing you right in the face when you least expect it, because you've put in the work consistently.
Exactly.
Well said. I think one of my favorite quotes I like to think of is, if you hear a voice within you say you cannot close, then by all means close, and that voice will be silenced.
Yep.
But that's all in your hands. So let's jump back in, make sure everyone's awake, ready to go. Have a quick little sidebar conversation there. So Grace Sung asks, we'll do 2 more questions and then we'll wrap it up. I'll pass it back to Patrick. Grace Sung asks, what would you say your purpose in life is? I'd like to know more about who you're... Oops, I'm gonna rephrase this a little bit. It's a little messy. I'd like to know more about who you're telling yourself and who you want to become. Thanks for your priceless insights. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Okay, what my purpose in life is, you know, I believe every single one of us is here with tremendous power. We have so much power. We have so many talents. And my purpose is to discover as many talents and develop myself as much as possible throughout my lifetime. I'm very, very growth-oriented person. So whatever, it doesn't matter at which level I am in my life, I want to go for more. And I've learned from Sifu that everything I want is located outside of my comfort zone, right? So embrace being uncomfortable, understand that this is what helps you grow, and do it. Because the more we grow, there's so much in life that we can't even imagine right now. The only way to know that is to consistently grow and figure out what is it that talent that I have, what is it that, you know, impact that I can make on this world. So this is my purpose. I want to be a better version of myself. That sounds funny, right? That's what Sifu tells us. But this is what I'm working on every single day.
Well said. Last question. Tatiana, Afe May here. How do you handle the feedback on your role plays? Sometimes feedback from different people can be conflicting and confusing. How do you discern what will work for you? That's a really good question.
Very good question. Okay, I have a filter, okay? I take what I like, what I want, what I think is gonna empower me, is gonna make me better, and I do not take anything personally. If there is a comment that, if it's constructive criticism, like saying, hey, you know, here, you need to work on this because you didn't do well here, awesome, give it to me, because I know I'm gonna adjust that and I'm gonna become badass, right? I'm gonna do much better. So thanks for pointing out to me. This is how I'm gonna get better. If there's something that I feel like, well, that's not really relevant, you know, it's not gonna help me grow, I filter it out. It's like I've never heard it. So yeah, it's your self-esteem too. Please do not take things personally. You know what you want, you know what's gonna help you get there. You know you're gonna make mistakes, which are not mistakes, which is just an experience. There are no mistakes and no failures. And you just take it and implement it and get better. Filter it out.
One more quick one. I know we're running short of time here, but I really want to add this one because I feel like it'd be very important for them to learn. You know, to receive feedback or to give feedback, you must know how to do the other, vice versa. Those two play hand in hand. Mm-hmm. When giving feedback, what are some of the most key things that students should know?
To give somebody feedback?
Effective feedback.
Yeah, you need to be respectful. That is number one thing. You need to understand that, you know, there's no blaming, there's no arrogance. There's no place for being cocky or I know it all, right? You got to be respectful. You got to give that feedback that you know is going to help that person. You also need to deliver it in the right way so they hear it the right way. They hear what you're trying to say, okay? So be respectful. How would you want feedback to be delivered to you? What do you think is going to help you the most? And do the same for other people. So it's communication. Communication is power. Communication is key. And it's one of the most important skills that needs to be developed continuously on Discord.
100%. And quick side note, little housekeeping here. You know, of course, people get excited, but when you do get a little bit better, adding on to Tatiana, never talk down anyone. I mean, people are still learning, and unfortunately, I have popped into some of the Discord rooms, and you know, I stayed quiet. I was in the background, but it's really unfortunate that I have to bring this up, but it's been noted that people have been talking down to their students, or they've been like trying to give feedback, but it was in a very, very rude way, as in like, I'm way better than you should be doing XYZ. It's just, you know, like Steve says, when you point one finger, it's three back, and it's a very, it shows insecurity when you're
Yes.
bashing someone on feedback, right? So again, just a friendly reminder, you know, take a good look before you give that feedback out there, and actually think, okay, if I'm going to give them a million tips, what are 3 tips that'll help them grow? And coming from an objective standpoint and not from an emotional standpoint.
Right.
But that's all from me. So back to you, Patrick.
Beautiful. So what would a mastermind be without some assignments? Yes. So let us talk about our assignments. Here's what we want you to do. Tatiana and I took some time to think about this. We think this will help you. So take some time after this mastermind or in the next couple of days and write down what closing means to you. What does it mean to you? It's going to mean something different to everyone, right? Because it's not just making a sale. We've talked about it in the mastermind, right? What does it mean to you? We want you to write down everything you like about yourself and read it in the mirror. Put in the chat, what is that going to help you with? What's the purpose of doing that? Writing down things that you like about yourself and then reading that list in the mirror. Let me see in the chat. It's going to help you build what? There it is. We got James. Hey, James. Yeah. Beautiful. Self-esteem. That's right. We talked about how important that is, right? So take the time and do this. Make a list. Just doesn't matter how long it takes. Really take some time. Think about all the things you appreciate about yourself, that you like about yourself, that you're proud of yourself for. And then look at yourself in the mirror and obviously look at the paper back and forth, but read it out to yourself, right? And be proud of yourself. And post a video of your top takeaways in the Facebook group. And tag myself, tag Tatiana, so we can see, maybe if we have time, we can comment and just see what you're learning, right? If these are actually valuable masterminds. And add your booking link, right? Your way of, whether it's Calendly or whatever you use, so that people can book a role play with you. We want to be proactive. We want to go out there. We want to role play as much as we can and apply what we're learning. And use the hashtag in your post, hashtag mastermind, so we can easily find them. And we want you to connect with 5 HTC brothers and sisters whom you do not know. And like we talked about, have a closing conversation with them, but there's no transaction. You just get to know them, go deep, you help them get clarity, they're going to help you get clarity, and you just connect on a genuine level. Okay? So that being said, Tatiana, do you have any final thoughts on the assignments or the mastermind in general? What would you like to say to HTC before we end this mastermind?
No, I think these are great assignments. Definitely don't forget about, liking yourself, telling yourself you like yourself in the mirror. There's nothing wrong with that. Your self-esteem is huge part in closing, right? And then the point of connecting with your brothers and sisters is to go deep, right? And learn how to focus on that person without a sale being attached, right? So you completely detach from sales aspect and you just go deep it to that person, right? So that's the point of it, because ultimately this is what you'll be doing on a phone call, right? It's just a little reward, which is, it makes sense, right? For your energy, for your value to come back as a byproduct in the form of money, right? That's, it's natural outcome. So yeah, I think really understanding what is closing for you, and just become that. Don't just try to do closing. Be a closer. Act like a closer, because closer is your higher self. High ticket closer is your higher self, and then you'll do great.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Anything else before we end this?
I think that's it. I think we had fun. I just realized it's been over 2 hours. So
Yeah, fantastic. You've delivered so much gold. Put in the chat, let her know that you appreciated this, that you got some value out of it, that you got some aha notes, some gold, and that you're gonna apply it. That's important. And we're gonna see that in your takeaway videos on Facebook. Tag us. And before we go, I just want to say a big thank you to Vikas for making this mastermind happen, making it run smoothly. And of course, a big thank you to Tatiana, our coach, who delivered so much value and gave of her time. Thank you all for being here. Hopefully it was worth your time. And I just want to mention a few famous individuals before we go to help you realize just how important determination and persistence are as a high ticket closer. This is Thomas Edison. He failed 100 times before inventing the light bulb. Walt Disney was rejected 302 times before finally getting financing for creating Walt Disney World. Colonel Sanders got rejected 1,009 times before someone bought his recipe. Jack Ma, the wealthiest person in China. He was rejected from Harvard 10 times. He got rejected from job applications 30 times. Listen, he applied to become a police officer, and out of the 5 applicants, he was the only one who got rejected. And he applied for a job at KFC, and he was the only one out of 24 applicants who got rejected. And this last individual, you know a little bit more personally. He couldn't speak a word of English. His hands literally shook like a washing machine when he would present in front of people. $150,000 in debt. But he persisted, and he became the king of high-ticket sales and a multi-millionaire who now runs the largest sales organization in the world. Who am I talking about? Put in the chat. That's right. Sifu. And if he was here right now, he'd tell you that with determination and persistence, you can master closing. And you can reach financial confidence. And you have nothing stopping you but yourself. So get out there and role play. Role play every day. Show up to classes live and give it your all. And never give up. It might not be easy, and you'll most certainly face challenges along the way. But one thing's for sure. You're closer than you think.